Hello, everyone, and welcome to our F1 pre-season, pre-testing predictions. I'm Ajax, and I'm joined by the wonderful, the almighty Sorgan.
Hello, everyone. Um, I like this adjectives. Almighty. Oh yeah, my predictions will be almighty. I'm sure about that. As we, yeah, move over to the first proper 2026 video. The 2026 predictions. We've seen some of our YouTube colleagues already put some of theirs out, right? Uh,
Yes.
but yeah, this is the one you've all been waiting for because we're the carriers of massive wheel knowledge that no one else possesses. Unfortunately for them, fortunately for us. Anyways, 2026 pre-testing. So this is the first one of two. We'll do for this year. We'll do one for, well, straight up vibes. This is the one, and the next one will be after testing. So we'll have a little bit more idea on where everyone sits. Still, it's gonna be testing. Not much to exactly tell, but we'll be a little bit more informed as to where approximately the team sit. So yeah. Okay. Let's get into it. We'll do like I would say a team, then two drivers, right? So we can alternate.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
Yes, that's a good one.
Um,
Okay. Who begins?
do you want me to go first?
Up to you. Up to you, my friend.
Yes. I'm happy to go first because I'm gonna straight away get off the block and be a little negative. We're gonna start a little negative here. I'm going with Cadillac as my last place team, and my last two place drivers are going to be the two Cadillac drivers of Perez and Bottas, in that order, I should say. Look, new team to F1. They might come in, they might be all shiny, amazing, incredible, but I've been here before. I remember when F1 kept adding 11th teams and 12th teams. The days of Mauritius and I can't even remember what the Caterham. Um, Back in those days, where we added an extra two teams to the uh, to the F1 grid, and it just did not go well. And I'm just feeling the same here. I can't lie. I'm just a bit worried that we're coming in, we're all bright and shiny, new cars, and they'll just not be off the mark. They've got two incredible drivers, one with just and it feels weird to say, but charisma coming just out of him at all times in Bottas, and then Perez, who is another excellent driver, also bringing in a lot of money to the team. And yeah, I think they've got two really cool drivers, but I just don't think it's going to be up to speed straight away. Sadly, I don't think this team's going to be at the races straight away. And I know maybe that's a prediction where you're like, but they're the new team, of course. This, that, and the other. But it's just what I'm feeling in my bones. I'm not feeling Cadillac coming into the sport and being dominant straight away, or even competitive.
Yeah, that's a solid opinion, honestly. Cadillac is a completely new team. Most of their personnel are I believe, not like from the other teams. I did most of that. I feel like they're based in America, right? So it would be
Yes, yes.
difficult to move. Most of which is European based, already personnel from other teams to America. Like the closest one they would have is obviously Haas, but Haas also has part of it. They're well, part of that team in Europe. So yeah, I don't exactly know what to think of them yet, but I also don't have much of expectations right now. They have two very good driver lineup though. That's gonna help them for sure. A lot of experience, a lot of like safety in that driver lineup that they just will know where their car sits compared to other teams. If they would have chosen like two rookies, they would have no idea where they are realistically because they would have no one to compare them to other than themselves. So this is a good decision from my perspective. I will also choose Cadillac for 11th. Yeah, it's gonna be difficult with a completely new set of regulations. Obviously, the teams have a much easier job getting to new regulations than to old ones. But yeah, now every other team is just so much experience already. I don't feel like kind of like enough like experience with building a Formula One car essentially because they have a Ferrari engine that will depend on how good of an engine a Ferrari builds. That's one of the aspects, but that car I don't believe their chassis slash aerodynamics will be that good. Honestly, yeah. You have chosen Bottas over Perez. I will do the opposite. I actually think Perez will beat Bottas. I have also them in my last places. Uh, Maybe a little out there. I feel like more people lean over to the Bottas side, but I just feel like they're pretty much even. I feel like just Perez is a little bit better in the races and Bottas is a little bit in qualifying. So I would give this to Checo purely because if there's a crazy race that Perez maybe finishes like P12 or P11, maybe even scores points, I feel like it's going to be on him rather than Bottas. Yeah, it's just pretty much out there. There's one crazy result, and with 22 cars on the grid, you'll just need one crazy race, finish like P10 in order to jump many places. I feel like we'll see a big disparity from the teams from the top to the bottom compared to previous years, obviously.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Right. Here's where it starts getting controversial.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm really just not sure what I want to do after this point, right? I've got
Yeah.
my first two in. I'm like, right, where do I head next? Which team am I heading to next? And look, I don't really want to put these two down, but again, it's just the rumors over the Ferrari engine not being ready, the Ferrari team not being ready. It's making me feel like, is this going to occur where we've got a top teams and the bottom teams? But I'm not going to go fully down. I'm going to put Haas in 10th place, which maybe, considering how much they've made in leaps and bounds over the last few seasons, maybe a little controversial. But they do have that Ferrari engine. I am slightly worried about it. Maybe it's me being a pessimist here, but yeah, I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to put Ocon in 20th. But Ocon isn't going to be joined by his teammate. I'm not going to do it one team at a time. I am going with Lindblad in 19th. Again, I'm not sure how quick the racing balls are going to be. I'll get onto that in a little bit. But yeah, I would love Lindblad to absolutely kill it in this first season. But it is his first season. I don't think we can expect him just to be. Well, he's very quick, but he's still like 18 as well. He's still very young, so we've got to give him a bit of time. Hopefully, Racing Bulls will do that, and yeah,
Okay. First one will differ quite a bit. This one I like. Okay. P10. I feel like there's like a bunch of teams I could put here. Honestly, I have like 4 teams in mind in this next group that I'll have. Next, I'll put Racing Bulls in P10. They're building a new engine of Red Bull with Ford. I will call it probably the Ford engine because I don't think I will like the full name like Red Bull Powertrains Ford or whatever it's called. I'll just call it a Red Bull Ford. Basically, the engine. They're building it for the first time as a team, Red Bull, with the help of Ford. He's not that big of a help as people maybe initially thought. It's more of like Red Bull, what they've seen from Honda, they just will try to use that experience to build their own engine. And like, massive respect for them to even try it, especially coming off, almost winning 5 drivers' championships in a row. But yeah, Racing Bulls is their sister team. I just don't have that much expectations on them building a good car itself, and I don't have many expectations on their engine itself. So, yeah, despite the rumors on their engine proving some, getting some, the thing that Mercedes and Red Bull apparently discovered with some kind of a
Yes, yes.
thing.
Although apparently Red Bull don't have that.
Yeah, just basically, I just don't believe their engine will be that good. So,
Yeah.
yeah, pretty much towards the back, I have Lindblad in P19. Sorry, not P19, P20. It'll be difficult for him to, well, set himself from a such a young age. We've seen with Antonelli. I believe he'll show some good promise in some races. Just, I expect a regular rookie season, maybe closer to his teammates at times, but beaten by his teammate over the entire season with some highs and some lows, just regular rookie season. And P19 also differ a little. I have Franco Colapinto in the P19.
Mhm.
Uh, yeah, I just don't really feel like he will do that good in the season. I know I may seem like a quite a bit of a hater in this past few years. Just I wasn't very impressed in his Alpine stint in general. It's just yeah, I don't think Alpine will be that good itself. So yeah, P19 for Colapinto. I'm pretty much very well. It's better than where I finished last year, obviously. But yeah, not much of an expectation for him. Yeah.
Yes, yes. I'm gonna say that I completely agree with you. Starting with Racing Bulls, I have them as my next team. Um, for me, oh, that's the wrong one. My apologies. For me, I agree with you. I think a lot of whenever these stuff change over, a lot of resources go into Red Bull during these times, and so I'm sort of like, I expect that team will be the stronger ones, but I just don't think that they're going to bring their A game when it comes to racing bulls. Whenever there's regulation changes, racing bulls seems to suffer for a bit, and then eventually gets back up to the top, like we saw last season, where they were very impressive. But yeah, just a little bit of suffering for a small amount of time until Red Bulls is like, yeah, okay, here's some of the stuff we use. um, I really am starting to question whether or not they'll continue to be allowed to have this secondary team, but we'll see in the future on that. With that being said, I am gonna go for Lawson up next in my picks, and then I see I'm chucking the ideas around of Alpine, but I also know the Alpine are going to have that Mercedes engine, so that's why I'm gonna go for Behrman afterwards. Oh wait, actually no, I was going to go for Lance Stroll.
Mhm.
With this, it's a risk, right? I don't know whether or not the Honda's going to be quick or not. I don't know sort of where they're going to be around with this Aston Martin team. Now they've got this new leadership in, what they're going to be doing. But I do know one thing, and that's Lance Stroll isn't a very quick driver. So, yeah, I'm going to put him in 17.
It's just feel like he should be gone from F1 already. Like it's a good placeholder.
Uh,
Uh,
Maybe. I don't think he's too bad. Like I think he, especially at the start of last season, he was doing very well. And you get those moments of excellence from him. The end of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, that last minute overtake was sensational. One of the best we've seen all season. And then, whenever it rains, he starts turning into Senna. I always remember that meme of it's Stroll's name, but it's like it says Senna,
Senna Prost, like Verstappen, Hamilton,
Senna
and
Frost.
Bottas.
Yeah,
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 yeah, exactly.
yeah. I remember that one. Yeah. Yeah, right. Like Stroll has some good moments, just not nearly consistent enough for him to warrant his seat, in my opinion. Uh, yeah. Okay. Next up, my predictions: P9 and the constructors standing. So a little bit of an order in mind already, and I think I'm going for Haas next. And I feel like we both maybe overrating one of the teams here, but yeah, I have similar reasonings as you do. I just don't really believe in the Ferrari engine that much. I don't think it's a little bit bad by any means. I just feel like other teams will uh, handle the engine change much better. We've seen in recent years that Ferrari are very, very elite at screwing things up, and I just feel like this engine will have some issues, especially in the reliability. That will hinder them. So yeah, I have Haas and P9. I just don't really think that thing can build much of a car anyway. Like, yeah, they've closed up a little bit in this Grand Prix era. They started really well in 2022, right? But that was for like half a season with Magnussen being the top 10 and then just fell off because they couldn't keep up with the development. And I feel like the similar thing can happen. Just, with this new change, there'll be so many changes. Like the cars from testing will look completely different to the ones in race one and race six. Those cars will look completely different to the race one cars. So it's gonna be a big development race, and I don't feel like Has will handle it that well because they haven't historically. And so anyway, so yeah, my P18 is Esteban Ocon. Yeah, I have a similar idea. I feel like Behrman will beat Ocon 2 years in a row, and yeah, we both have an idea where Oli Behrman will end up in 2027. So, kind of alluding to our predictions in the driver lineups. That if you haven't seen, make sure to check that one out. And yeah, P17. This was a little bit difficult because I have no idea who will come out on top on this team, but I decided that I will give Hulkenberg P17 from Audi. It's a bit of a rainbow there.
Okay.
Uh,
Oh, damn.
yeah, five different teams in my bottom six in drivers so far. Yeah, I pick Hulkenberg for P17, and yeah, I'll explain much more when come to Audi.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. Right. My next team. Oh gosh, it's one of those, isn't it? It's like, oh, where do we go now?
Yeah.
Because any of these teams, I feel like, could be good. I think I'm gonna go for. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I'll go for Audi. I'll go for Audi. Um, I feel like oh no! I'll go for Aston. I've changed my mind last second there. I'll go for Aston instead. Um,
Ooh.
Aston Martin, obviously going into the season will be in a Honda engine. They might be really quick. Might be phenomenal. I'm not sure, and I'm very excited for it. But I am also like, well, you know what? They could be slow as well. So I'm taking a risk here, and I'm going for them. But I'm not going for Alonso just yet. I am going to put Behrman up next. Because, as I said, I don't think the Haas is going to be particularly quick. Um, um, but yeah, I respect him a lot, and I think he has done incredibly well thus far in his career. And we discussed last week, perhaps a Ferrari candidate. And then I'm going to go for. I'm going to go for Collar Pinto. because well, I think he's actually quite quick. Like he did show in that first 6 months that he was not too slow, and yeah, I think he's got a chance there, and yeah, so I think even last season, right? He showed at the end of the season that he did have something about him that he could, go toe to toe with Gasly at the end of the season. He out qualified him a few times, outraced him a few times. Obviously got 0 points, so I'm not going to go all the way to crazy town. But they are going to have a Mercedes engine in there, so I'm going to go for them. I'm going to actually put it out there that I think they'll be one of the quicker cars.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, my P8 in the constructor standings is okay. One thing. It's Alpine. I'm gonna say that straight first, but I made a little mistake. I didn't mean to choose Hulkenberg for P17. Actually, wanted to go for Lawson. I will apologize. And I Hulkenberg P17. Sorry, P16. That's the current order. I was like thinking I did forget the driver, and I did. Unfortunately, Lawson P17. Yeah, mainly due to the reasons I explained with Racing Bulls. I feel like he will beat Liam Blatt, and that's the bare minimum he has to do basically next season. And yeah, Alpine P8. Yeah, Mercedes engine will help definitely. Improvement over Renault that they've used for forever pretty much. I don't know the last time they have used a different engine. That Enstone team must have been a long time ago, if ever. Well, anyways, Alpine Mercedes will help, but fundamentally the team I feel like will fall mainly because of unequal driver lineup. I feel like Gasly will handle the new cars a little bit more with a lot of experience. I feel like he's a very smart driver as well in terms of the car setup and so on. I feel like Gasly is a little underrated still in the Formula One paddock and so on, just in community. I feel like yeah, almost points will go from Gasly if there will be any points in general. I feel like there will, but not that consistently enough. Okay, P16 Hulkenberg and P15 Bortoleto. This is yeah, kind of a spoiler for my next place in constructors. I feel like yeah, I feel like those two will be very close to each other. I just didn't know which one to choose. I feel like Bortoleto will it should be improving from last season, and last season already showed some great stints. He was beating Hulkenberg in qualifying pretty well in the middle of the season. Then little bit of a drop off towards the end, but those were all tracks he didn't really know before from his F2 stint. So yeah, I feel like it will be much more even with Hulkenberg throughout the entire season, and eventually will come on the top. Not by much, but I feel like they'll be very close, and I believe in Bortoleto to be this experienced teammate in their first year at Audi.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, perfect. Right, I am going to go next with. Ooh, I have some belief in Audi. I don't know why I have any belief in Audi, but I just think They had that extra head start. I think they're gonna do well there. I don't know. I just have a little extra feeling about it. Not too well, but well enough. So I'm actually going to go for the Alpines next. As much as they have that Mercedes engine, they were dreadful this last season. Are they going to get straight back on form straight away? Who knows? And alongside that, I'm going to put Gasly. I don't think he's too much quicker than Colapinto. Maybe that's disrespectful for him. Bear in mind he got 22 points last season, and Colapinto only got a few. But Colapinto had to come into a new team midway through the season. Gasly was already there. Gasly was racing for them for a long time. I think that he was on, you know, and they got all their points pretty much at the start of the season, a few at the end, but not too much. Um, so yeah, I think Colapinto might have a little bit more raw pace. I did. Sorry, I was stuttering last time about him, so I wanted to talk a little bit more about him this time. And I think they're going to be good teammates. But as I said, I don't think whilst they have this Mercedes engine, I don't think that the engine was their only issue. I do think they're going to have more problems than just that into the start of the season. And then next up, I'm going to go for. Oh, I'm going for Bortoletto, and I tell you why over Hulkenberg. Because I think Hulkenberg is just going to be Mr. Consistent. That's what he is throughout. I think Bortoletto can have these really big pace runs, but Hulkenberg makes smart strategies. That's how he got his podium. You know, he is out there doing his best, and I think you know that he'll bring a lot of consistency. Whilst I think Bortoletto is actually probably going to end up being the quicker of the two drivers come the end of the season. I think just because it's like a new season and this is a new car, when the time comes to it, Hulkenberg will get a lot more like sevenths and eighths and so on, and that will just push him over Bortoletto for me.
Okay, I like your optimism in Audi. I really like it because yeah, their season will uh, it will have an effect also
Well,
on my mood throughout the season as well. So
yes,
just
exactly. And I wish them to have that consistency. What I'm thinking is right. They've had like 3 years to plan this. I know Cadillac are obviously coming in as a new team as well. They have a lot of the team members there from Sauber already. I think they would have put a lot of time and effort in and budget into making this car as amazing as possible for their two drivers who are very good drivers, and I'm very excited to see this season. I think you don't just do that unless you. I think they're serious about trying to be a good F1 team. Whereas I think Cadillac are coming in and being a bit like, we got the money, let's just try it out. Whereas I think Audi are very serious about becoming the next, yeah, F1 team on the grid,
yeah,
even if their cars are not nice
uh,
looking. But we'll talk about that later.
one thing I realized, you're probably putting Alonso next. Not to spoil it, you have to put Alonso next for your constructors to make sense. I believe so.
I do, and I was going to.
Yeah,
You did spoil it.
yeah, just want to make sure. So you wouldn't have to change anything afterwards. Okay, P7 constructors. It's yeah, I kind of spoiled it already. Audi. Um, yeah, I feel like those two are a little bit close to each other. I feel like they have a decent first season. They have a very good leadership. Like very good leadership from Red Bull. Very good technical leadership from Binotto. Obviously, Binotto wasn't the greatest team principal out there, but when it comes to like technical leadership, he's one of the best in the paddock, and I feel like that team will profit a lot from having him on board. Uh, Obviously, being backed by a huge brand like Audi, so on. Like, yeah, the biggest question mark for that team is the engine. Like, will they be able to come in and with at least a solid engine from the start? Obviously, there'll be a lot of development at the start for sure. Uh, yeah, this is pretty much. I feel like from the technical point of view, they'll be solid. But yeah, the biggest question mark is engine. If their engine is good, we may see them scoring points. If it's not, we may see them near Cadillac pretty much. So yeah. When it comes to the drivers, P14, I have Ollie Behrman and a P14 as yeah, same reasoning with Ocon. I feel like that Haas will not be that great, and yeah, I just feel like there will be more of a gap between Ollie and Esteban, as Ollie will really try to push for that Ferrari seat for 2027, and I feel like he can do it because yeah, has made a lot of mistakes in 2025, right? Like there are some really bad like lows from his side, but those highs were just so bright that I feel like he can, if you can master the consistency, uh, he'll be uh, he'll be a beast. I feel like it was one of the most promising drivers we have on the grid, like for the future. And yeah, really like his chances, and yeah, fortunately, just uh, not that much of a chances for his team. So yeah, and P13, actually like. Mm, do I go for it? Okay, I'll stick with Gasly. I was thinking of switching out a little, but yeah, Gasly P13. I feel like there will be a big gap. Unlike you, I feel like there will be a big gap between the Alpine drivers. I feel like Gasly is going to be very good, and his regulations, for some reason, I just have the vibe. And Gasly will drag that Alpine to be in the constructors, basically scoring most of the team's points and yeah, doing the best he can in that car, as like he did it last year. But last year it was a tractor for most of the season. So yeah,
Yeah, I think you're probably thinking the same as what I did with Bortoletto, where it's like you know a bit further ahead. Um, Now I could put Alonso next, or I could put him next. I don't. I think this bottom of the table is going to be very close because I don't think they're going to get many points throughout the season, if I'm honest. But I will put Alonso next. I think he is obviously an incredible driver. Again, we just don't know where this Aston or where the Aston's going to be. If it's going to be quick, if it's not going to be quick. I'll be honest, I do regret putting them behind Alpine, but that's fine.
I mean you can
So
change
yeah,
it.
I think
I won't mind.
yeah, why not? Why
It's
not?
your
I'll
list
change it.
after all.
I'll change it. I think the Alpine will be a little slower. Maybe I'm getting their credit for. And I think Alonso will do well. I also am going to put Audi up on there because I forgot to do that. We do teams first. I think the Audi's going to be quick. I think these two are like my great unknowns, right? They could be sensational, both Audi or Aston, or they could be slow. So I'm not sure which ones that's going to be. And then I'm going to put Hulkenberg above. I think these two are just like the people with the most knowledge of F1 currently. I think they have the skills as well to just bring that across and do well in these cars. So yeah, I think Alonso and Hulkenberg. I believe they were the same last year as well, which is pretty nuts. So yeah, I think
Yeah, I think you're right.
were they next to each other? They were like
Yeah, they're very close to each
maybe
other. Yeah,
maybe 10th and 11th.
I think
They were, but I've got them in the opposite order this time.
I think
So
actually
yes,
Alonso was
I know they're 11th,
10th.
12th, but
I think it was Alonso was 10th and Hulkenberg was 11th. But yeah, they were next
yes.
to each other.
And I know they're 11th and 12th here, but there's an extra team. So
Yeah, that's right. It feels weird to predict like 22 drivers into 11 teams. It's gonna be very very fun to have more cars on the grid. It's just get it out of my head. Just so excited for this season, man. Okay, P6 in the constructors. A little bit out there so far. Williams P6. P6 doesn't look good. Doesn't look as good as P5 last year, but I feel like they were pretty much remain where they were last year. Pretty like in a similar way. I don't feel like they will be catching the top teams or falling down the order because yeah, I feel like Williams was one of the teams who like completely threw the development for the season like out of the window and they straight up like say 2026 is our year at the start of the season. And then Williams started with one of the better cars on the grid as well. So they managed to extract so much from this season and we're already like focusing on next year. I think they'll help them with also having a Mercedes engine. I feel like that team will pretty much stay where they were. But just another team jumping them in the the constructor standings. And from that team, it's Lance Stroll from the Aston Martin. I feel like, yeah, he will have a better car than last year. Just that driver will still be the same. Yeah, I don't have much belief in Lance Stroll. He will have some good moments for sure, right? Like he always does every season. Just a little bit, he'll be destroyed for the rest of the season. So, yeah, just like usual. Lance Stroll in P12, and next up we have Isaac Hadjar from Red Bull in P11. So just outside the top 10. Yeah, now starting to get into the top teams a little bit with these predictions. I feel like Hadjar will have a better season than Yuki Tsunoda had last year. I feel like that's for sure, but it will not be enough to crack the top 10, especially with I feel like Red Bull will downgrade compared to last season, mainly due to building their own engine. It has to be a very difficult task. I don't feel like they will be that far off, like completely down the order, like PA and constructors, like some are predicting. But they will not having easy, and they will be carried pretty much just by having amazing chassis and aerodynamics, just like they did when Mercedes were dominating, right? Like those years that they just had the inferior engine, but their car was very good outside of it. I feel like a similar situation will be here with Red Bulls. Like they've lost many personnel over the years, but they still have like huge foundation, huge experience in building quick cars, and like just like they've shown last year, like they lost so many people and they still managed to bring upgrades and fight for the title. I have no doubts that that team will give Max a good car. Just the engine is the question mark, just like Audi, with those two teams building their own engine, essentially. So, well, for the first time ever, for Audi, it's their ventures in the sport, and for Red Bull, first time they're building their own engine. So yeah, Hadjar, I feel like he's going to have a decent season, closer to Max than Yuki was, but just a similar situation to all the previous Red Bull drivers, just around that area of like 3 to 4 tenths behind on average.
I agree. My thing is right. Well, I'll get to it actually. I'll let you complete.
I have
Oh
actually,
wait, no,
yeah,
that was
I
your
finished. Yeah.
I agree, and that's I'm gonna skip the next team for now and say I also have Hajar. I have in tenth instead. For me, as I say, there's a lot of unknown. As you said, sorry, there's a lot of unknowns going into the season in terms of are Red Bull going to be quick? Are they going to have the car built for it? Because they've obviously had to build a car without Adrian Newey for the first time. Is the engine going to be quick? There's so many unknowns with this Red Bull. What I will say is and again, is this car going to be bounced completely around Max? Is it just going to be completely made for Max? And is that going to screw over Hajar? So that's why I'm like, putting Hajar in 10th rather than high up, because I'm like, well, I just don't know. I have no, there's so many things that could go against him. He could also be very quick. He could also be up there. If Red Bull have made a car that's like 2022, where it's equal, between the two, then he could be challenging Max for a few races. We'll see. We'll see. But that's why I've got him 10th. I would like him a bit higher, but I couldn't. And now we get to probably my biggest shock. I'm going for Hamilton in the Ferrari in P9. I'll be honest, very tempted to put Leclerc there because it would have been funny. But also, like, Hamilton is better when it's not it's not a ground effect era we're going to. It's a lot more about the engine. He is really good at that, braking under the engine and so on. He's going to be a lot racier, but I don't know if all his energy's just been sapped out of him, and if it be continue to be sapped out of him if this Ferrari's slow, like we've heard rumors it's going to be, which is exactly why I've got Ferrari in 5th as well. So yeah, I'm not co-PMing this year. I'm putting them down there.
Okay. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna tell you, it's not much of a shock as you think. I have Ferrari in P5 as well, in constructors.
Okay.
And funnily enough, I have Lewis Hamilton in P9 as well. Trying to get them out
Okay.
first. Because I find it funny that this is my biggest shock which I have to say. Sorry. Uh,
But that's
yeah,
the first one from that. No, that is.
okay.
Bless me. That's
Your
the first
first
time
shock,
we've
not the
had
biggest. Yeah, sorry.
a person at the same point. No, that's the coolest thing.
Yeah, I like how the Ferrari and Audi like look next to each other in your standings. Orange. Sorry, getting a little bit carried over. Sorry. Back to my predictions. Okay, Ferrari P5. Already shared my thoughts on Ferrari. What they will kind of do for this season. Look, if you put low expectations on Ferrari, they can only surprise you, right? But Ferrari is Ferrari. They can come P7 into constructions. It's possibility after all. Like I wouldn't be surprised, but I also wanna like keep my expectations low because I want them to prove me wrong and be better. Because last year I predicted them like so bad compared to where they finished 2024, and they actually proved me right. They somehow got almost like correctly their position, and yeah, I really don't want it to happen again. Like we both of us are kind of a Ferrari fans now, so we share the same pain, and we don't want it to continue, even though we predicted it for it to happen. And yeah, okay. I started with P10. I have gone for Alex Albon from Williams. Like those two in the Williams will be very close as well. I feel like Sainz will come out on top in this time for the entire season. Like he will not have the struggles that he had at the start of the last year, and there will be much more even throughout the season with Sainz having more of those bigger moments, just like he had last year with those podiums. For Lewis, yeah, I feel like the similar scenario to last year, being beaten by Leclerc, but I don't feel like it will be as tragic as we've seen last year. So many Q1 exits and so many like really bad moments, right? He will be not really satisfied with the speed of the Ferrari, but compared to Leclerc, I feel like he will not be as it will not be as far away from Leclerc as he was last year, especially in, uh, in the head-to-heads, right? Because like on the average qualifying delta, I think it was like around 2 tenths, which is not that much considering it's Lewis's first Ferrari season. So yeah, I feel like it would be more even, more of like Leclerc science dynamic that you had, right? The beforehand,
Hmm.
like the Lewis beating Leclerc like in the third of the season, pretty much. I feel like a similar thing for this year, and yeah, yeah,
Well,
I've covered both.
I
Okay.
also I'm going to go on to the Leclerc, who's my ninth place pick, or sorry, eighth place, as I should say. I think the Ferrari is going to be way slower than the four. Well, the three and a half teams, but ahead of them. And there'll be quite a reasonable gap. I think at the start of the season they're going to struggle and not like be out the top 10 sometimes. That's just off what we're hearing, right? Last time after regulation change, Ferrari came with one of the quickest cars there was. This time, I just don't think they're going to have that. And I'm worried about it. We're both worried about it as Ferrari fans. But up next, I am going to start putting Williams drivers. I've got Alex Albon up next in seventh for Williams. I'm excited for Williams this season. I also got Williams in fourth. Like you, I think the Albon will probably come below Sainz this season, but I think they will be close. Again, I think Alex is probably a bit more consistent, but Sainz has got those like amazing moments to him. Bit like the opposite to Hulkenberg and Bortoletto, but when it comes to consistency inside the top 10, I think Albon will just get when it comes to top 10 performances, you obviously get more points when you're a lot higher up, and I think Sainz will get those higher positions. But yeah, I'm really excited for Williams. Everything out. James Valves has worked incredibly there. Everything that we've heard is just very, very, uh, you know, exciting. So I'm really excited. I'm really like, okay, this looks to be a good season. They could be pushing maybe for top half. Well, hopefully for top half as I put them here, but maybe being a top three team even, which is why I've got them in fourth.
Okay. Yeah. uh, like similar predictions in this part, which I didn't expect at the start. If you get me Aston out, I think that's the main difference with this. Okay. My next my next picks is first up is Aston Martin. Okay, I should probably
Okay.
copy it. Aston Martin in P4. Uh, Okay, the constructors' standings will be not helped by Lance Stroll's performance. That's the main thing. I feel like they could challenge for the top three for sure if they would have had more than one driver scoring most of the points. I feel like Fernando Alonso will not have that slow start of the season as he had last year. I feel like he will be straight out of the blocks, very quick, very consistent, and maximizing the car that will be given. Similar thing to 2023, I believe, and Aston was getting podiums. He got like 8 podiums in the first 9 races, something. It's crazy, crazy stuff. So yeah, similar thing I feel like will happen here. P8 in the driver standings, I have Carlos Sainz. I said I feel like the Williams drivers really close, with a little Hamilton between them. That's mainly due to I feel like Ferrari being not that great. I thought Carlos will have a good season, similar to last year, just without that slow start. So yeah, some very good performances. I believe a podium or two for Williams again, maybe even more, even for both drivers. Depends on how close the pack will be, especially at the top. So yeah, the P8 for Sainz and P7. I have Charles Leclerc. So a bit of a checkerboard there. Ferrari and Williams. I've explained the Ferrari reasoning a couple of times already. Leclerc, I feel like will beat Hamilton. I feel like that's much of a surprise to predict. Yeah, another season with Ferrari that will make him not that happy, and eventually will lead him to switch teams over to Aston Martin. I can predict in 2027. Driver predictions. Yeah, this is all connected.
Yes, yeah, yeah. I certainly had to take a bit of that of our predictions there into this as well. Right, up next for me is going to be Sainz. Uh, Again, I think he's probably just going to be Albon. I think they're going to be quick in that car. I'm excited for it. That's what I'm really excited for. And I'm going to put Antonelli up next. I think that he I think when it comes to this season, I'm a lot more excited for him, but I still think there has been those weaknesses there when it comes to being in uh, a potential drivers championship fight. I'm not sure what he's going to do. I think he's going to be maybe struggling a bit to keep the pace of the top four that I'm going to pick up, and I think that due to that he's going to struggle and maybe be quite a few points off them. I think there's going to be a big gap between my fifth place and top four. That's what I would say. But for a team, I'm going to go for Red Bull. Again, they are unknown, but they do have one of the best drivers there is out there. And I'll talk about him in a bit. So I kind of want to leave it for that.
Yeah, Uh, Getting to the finale a little bit there. Uh, my P3 in constructors is kind of obvious. Red Bull Racing. This is their position from last year as well. I feel like a very similar dynamic to last year will be in place. Just that I feel like Max will have a car to challenge for the driver's title like he had last year, and I feel like Hajar will be more of a help to the constructor standings than Yuki or Liam were last year. So yeah, Rebel Racing P3 mainly dragged down by the engines, like I said, and P6 in the driver standings. I have Fernando Alonso. So a little bit of a 2023 flashback here with Alonso fighting with the top teams again. I feel like that would be very similar to 2023. I feel like Aston will start very strongly and a little bit of a fall down throughout the season. Yeah, it will all depend on the Honda partnership, right? Like if Honda can deliver a great engine like they've done for Red Bull, that team could be scary, right? With Andrew Newey at the head of the team now, uh, with so many people from so many teams, with the completely new factory, and all that. They have all the puzzles finally in place, and like all the pieces in place, and all they have to do now is to deliver. And I feel like one of the drivers will, and one of the drivers will not exactly do that. So yeah, Alonso P6 and P5 I have Max Verstappen. So yeah, it really pains me to put him this low, but I just don't think he will challenge the top two teams because yeah, I feel like he will have the mainly the engine for it. Well, the car is also made out of the engine, so as I can say that. So he will do the best he can, obviously. Just like he does every year, he'll extract the most out of this car, dragging the team to P3 out of nowhere. The constructors will pretty much be the main point source, just like he always is, and yeah, just not enough. Not like last year, unfortunately. Yeah, just phenomenal performances and a car that will be given, and that's going to be the maximum he can do. I still expect him to win a race, at least one next year for sure. Like there'll be some circumstance when the Red Bull, the engine will not be that needed, like Monaco, for example. I fully expect Max to fight for the pole position in Monaco, which is essentially the win as well. There will be like some races that Max will fight for the win, but yeah, just not nearly consistently enough for him to be in the top four.
Yeah, exactly. Um, right. I feel like this is going to reveal a lot for me. Piastri is up next in my top four. I think he's going to be, again, way higher than Antonelli. I think he'll be pretty close to his teammate, who's going to be third for me. I just think that these two are very. We talked about it last week. I think they're a phenomenal team together. I think McLaren have these rules in place, and they can harm them, but also help them. And yeah, I think they'll be up there, but I don't think they'll be at the very top. Mainly because they did get a little starting place when it come to they did get a little boost when it came to this season, but also when the regulations changed, McLaren tend to be really slow. But I'm not gonna make them really slow this time. I'm just gonna make them a little slower than maybe another team. And unfortunately, this being said, this does ruin my top place on the standings. I still think they're going to come first. I'll put them in there because I think they'll just be more consistent, and I do think they'll get a lot more points than Antonelli, and I don't think they'll be too behind my top two.
Okay, I like your prediction so far. Very interesting, and we are so similar. It's actually scary, kind of. Okay, let's start with my constructors because it's the same as yours. I've also Mercedes P2, McLaren P1. It doesn't really make sense to put the P2 and the P1 there because it's like, yeah, it's obvious who's there. when it comes to Mercedes and McLaren, yeah, they will share the same engine, and it will be a battle of those two teams basically being able to extract the most out of their chassis and aerodynamics. And yeah, McLaren is coming off the constructors title. They will be definitely challenging them, and this will also, the constructors will also come down to the drivers and how will they perform, because yeah, McLaren, like I done in my driver pairing rankings, I feel like they're the best driver lineup you can have possibly right now, and I feel like that's the main reason they will get the constructors. I have P4 Antonelli. I feel like those four drivers, I find the McLaren drivers, are gonna be that far ahead of him. For them to get constructors. In this case, and yeah. I feel like those two teams will be close to each other, though. I fully believe that. Yeah. P3 is Oscar Piastri, so a similar way that you've gone. I feel like it will be beaten by Lando again, and that'll be his final season in McLaren. My predictions that you should definitely watch if you haven't. Otherwise, I would back my boy, obviously, to beat his teammate for the first time, but also I also wanted to connect them to my predictions. In this case, I feel like Piastri will leave that team after the season, so yeah, that's that makes sense for him to be beaten by Lando. That makes sense. So for that to happen, right? So yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Right, my top two. I'm going to put Verstappen in second. Now, it's only because it's Max Verstappen, right? Again, I think there's so many issues going into Red Bull this season, but it's Max Verstappen. He's got to be close to the top teams. I made the mistake of putting him too low last season. I'm not going to make it again. The team is basically built around him. I wouldn't be surprised if this car was literally perfectly engineered for him. So yeah, I'm putting him second. He's out here being the greatest of all time. Plus, I want to see the drama between him and George Russell fighting for the championship. You thought that Oscar Piastri and Nando Norris was a bit tetchy at times. You thought Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen drove into each other too often. Wait until you see George Russell versus Max Verstappen. It would be a generational fight between them. I want it so much. I want it so much. It's going to be incredible. Oh my god, it would be. I would love it. I would love it. Mwah. Mwah. It
I
would
mean,
be sensational.
yeah, man.
No,
I fully agree
imagine the
with you.
drama. Those
Yeah,
two
yeah, yeah.
hate each other already.
Like whenever they meet each other on track, it's already drama. They didn't
Yeah,
even fight for the
exactly.
title last year. Like, yeah, it would be amazing. I fully agree with you. It would be absolute scenes and very much very exciting title fight that we would see between those two. With your constructors, I feel like McLaren's will also be kind of in that fight. In your predictions, they would need to be very close to those two for them to get constructors as well. Because do you think Anthony will be that far off Russell, or the McLarens will be far off as well?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do I think? Pardon?
No,
You
for
think the same? Antonelli will be a lot further off.
yeah. So you think
Yeah,
Anthony will be like far off the top four, right?
yeah, yeah. I think he'll be like a considerable amount of points down. I think he'll be almost at the same amount of points as Sainz and Albon.
Okay, what's gonna be the difference in points between the top four come the end of Abu Dhabi?
Oh, the top four. I'm gonna say I'm gonna say 75 points. I think Russell will like race away with it come the end.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I was thinking like if I would have to put points into a prediction, I would say like 40 points, but yeah, 75 also is mathematically completely fine. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. My
I think
predictions. Yeah,
Russell's going
sorry.
to win like 80% of no 75% of the races this year.
75. That's okay. That's 18 out of 24.
Yeah.
18 races. That's like wait, like one less than Max Verstappen's record in 2023. He won 19 that year. So wow,
Okay, maybe 16 races then.
16 races. That's still quite a lot. Yeah. Well, if Russell is winning 16 races, like I'm going to be fine. Okay. Well, you got your predictions. Right? I'm gonna sway your opinion. I think Antonelli will do better. I still think he will be a couple of places behind his teammate. I feel like Lando Norris will come P2 and George Russell will win the 2026 Drivers' World Championship, just like you predict. With a different title contender alongside him, but well, I don't know when was the last time two Brits fought for the Drivers' Championship. Uh, Probably in the 90s,
No.
maybe.
Uh, were Button and Hamilton ever close?
I mean, they haven't really fought for the championship in 2010,
No.
nearly
With it, I was,
2011.
I was thinking 2012, was that the year that Hamilton like
Hamilton
almost won, but he
was,
kept getting retirement issues?
yeah, but Hamilton was much better that season than Button was. I feel like it wasn't much of a fight for a title between those two. It was like Alonso
Yeah, fair
and
enough.
Sap, and yeah,
Yeah, I can't think. They're probably yeah, we're probably talking like the 90s or somewhere,
yeah,
sometime
like
in the distant past. But
Mansell, the Hill, or something like that. It was a long time ago, basically.
yeah.
uh, yeah, way before my birth. So I'll say it like that. So yeah.
And mine, thank you very much.
Sorry. I was like, where were you? But I was like, it's 2003. You're probably like 99, right?
99.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
99.
yeah. So before your birth as well. Sorry, my friend.
I saw Mickey Hakkinen.
Yeah, you were born the year Mika Hakkinen won the title. So yeah.
Yeah, and then Michael won them all, and I was a huge Michael Schumacher fan. And then when Michael Schumacher retired, I was like, oh, I'm going to start supporting the new young British driver, Lewis Hamilton. And then he won so many. I really have been living the dream as an F1 fan.
Yeah, sure. Apart from
I
like a
support a
last couple of
rubbish
seasons,
football
maybe.
team, mostly.
Or yeah. Okay. Okay. A little bit of a yeah. George Russell. I feel like he will win his first title. I think Mercedes will not have much of a advantage over McLaren. I think he will fight it out. I feel like Russell will beat the McLarens on pace, like from a driver's point of view, over the entire season, giving it the title. I think it was very close between the top three. I predict like 30 points between the top three, maybe 40, with Antonelli like 70, 80 points behind Russell. That'll be my prediction. I feel like Antonelli will have some great races in 2026. Some races will beat Russell. Just yeah, George is just so good right now. Like I feel like he's top three driver on the grid, and he really deserves a title contender car for the first time in his career. Like he joined Mercedes just after they've stopped winning. That's just so unlucky for
Yeah,
him. And I feel like he really deserves a chance that Lando has gotten in the last 2 years, that he will finally get that car and be able to challenge
also,
the drivers'
I
champions.
desperately want three British champions in a row, all different British drivers as well. Oh, it's going to be beautiful.
So 26 Russell, 27 Behrman.
Hamilton, I tell you.
Sorry, but it would be it would not be a different champion, right? So
No, I
technically,
meant it's Norris, then George, then Hamilton. I know
okay,
Hamilton's won
I
several,
see.
but I just mean a different British champion.
Yeah, I see now. Yeah,
Also, you do bring up a good point. Behrman will be a Ferrari in 2020, sorry, yeah, 2029, where he will also win a championship. or
2028.
2028. Sorry,
Yeah.
2028. Yeah,
So
you're right.
okay,
So
20,
four British
26,
champions in a row.
26 Russell, 27 Lewis, 28 Behrman, 29 Lindblad.
Yes, it's the dream.
Okay, that would be very British. For sure, exciting as well. I'm not against Brits winning the titles. I just would like it to be a different one, if possible, every year. That would be nice. I would be against Brits winning the next few titles if it would be like a different one every time, right? Just like you said, like if it would be like George then Lewis perhaps winning his eighth title and then Ollie in the Ferrari, and I would not be against that for sure. So yeah. Okay. I like our predictions. We're very similar in a lot of them. We have
Yes,
we have five teams the same,
but
like in the
to
same
be fair
positions.
to us, we only have two drivers on the same. I think.
Okay, let me see. Yeah, we have Hamilton and
And
uh,
Russell.
and Russell.
That's it. I think.
Yeah, that's it. You're right.
So yeah, whilst our teams are very similar, we've at least changed up a bit there.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a very similar like idea what's going to happen next year. Yeah, this may come completely wrong come the end of Abu Dhabi because there's testings, there's upgrades, it's just so many variables to this season. It's making it so exciting, and yeah, if there are predictions come anywhere near close, it's gonna be exciting as well. So I'm happy with what we've predicted, and yeah, here we go for 2026. It's just around the corner. It's 1.5 months away. The first season, the first race of the season in Australia. Yeah, can't wait.
Yeah, I'm so excited, and I'm glad you are as well.
Okay, I guess we can wrap this up now. So thank you everyone, every F1 fan who's joined us in this first 2026 predictions video. Obviously covering the entire season with our predictions and reactions as usual. We'll do the 2026 after testing predictions in about a month's time from now, before the first season. So sorry, first race of the season. And yeah, we'll be very excited to bring you more F1 content from us too going forward. We're having a lot of fun, and this season should be better than the last two combined on paper. So we're excited, and yeah, we'll see you next time. What's the next video? Let me smell the thing. Yeah, okay, I don't know what the next video is, but I will not spoil it. So yeah, make sure to be excited for that, and yeah, we'll see you next time. Peace.
Peace.